Hello and welcome to this workshop. This section is a workshop on building an AI web app with using Azure, Python, and Flask. So it's be a Python web application. You're going to pull in the backend services, calling Azure API, Azure Connected Service, Translator Service to translate text between languages. So you can translate text from English to French, from French to English, from French to German, from English to German, Italian, and all that. Yeah, so this is the web app we are going to build. All right, so who am I? I am Prince Adimado. I am a beta student ambassador at Microsoft. Also a computer science student at Accra Technical University. What are the prerequisites for this section? So you need an Azure for Students account, Python 3.6 or later, and Visual Studio Code. And also for the Azure for Students account, all you need is your email account to verify whether you're a student. They say Azure for Students account, so you must be a student for you to apply. Else, if you can't get access to it, I'll show you other ways to get an Azure account using the GitHub Student Pack, where you can get all those amazing freebies from the GitHub Student Pack education, the GitHub Education Student Pack. I'll show you how to get that also. So let's jump straight to the objective, not waste much time. So we're going to learn how to set up Flask development environment, learn how to use Flask to build a form, learn how to use the translator service to translate text. What is our agenda? Our agenda is to go through the introduction, through the exercise, setting up the Flask development environment. We do some small Flask fundamentals. We do some exercise to create the app, then we call the translator service. Let's jump straight into the introduction. For the introduction, creating a web application with artificial intelligence doesn't need to involve a lot of code or creating services from scratch. Let's imagine we want to create a website that translates text for the user. For the front end, we want something that will allow us to integrate our services without having to jump through a lot of hoops. A framework like Flask is a perfect choice. Flask is described by its creator as a micro framework, meaning provides its core services required, such as routing and templating, but otherwise allows you to do whatever backend services or application. It's also a lightweight, making it quick to set up and deploy. We don't need a database or anything fancy. We just need a framework to create the UI and call the backend service. This time, our backend service is the Azure Connective Service, and in our Azure Connective Service, we are calling the Translator Service, right? Yes. So you can also access the Connective Service by using via SDK or by HTTP. But for this session, using the HTTP by API. So let's set up Flask development environment. I'll show you how to get them. This one is the workshop, so it's a module. I'm taking you through how to step by step to build for yourself an AI web application that translates text between languages. So you are going to install Python, Visual Studio, you create a project directory, you create a Python virtual environment, then you install Flask and other libraries. All right, so I'm going to end my slideshow here. Then we are going to go. Yeah, I'll share my screen again. Share my screen again to yes. So first of all you need a Microsoft Learn account. Yeah, this is where the module is. You need a Microsoft Learn account. So right in your browser, just search um, Microsoft Learn. So once you search Microsoft Learn, uh, if you are not authenticated, you have to be authenticated by registering for Microsoft Learn. How can you get a Microsoft Learn account? All you need is all you need is a Microsoft account. You go to Microsoft Learn, you click on login. If you are not authenticated, your you see sign in over here. As where my cursor is, right? As where my cursor is, you see as in the signing, if you're not authenticated, you'll be like required to create an account on Microsoft Lane. Once you come to this page again, then you go to trade, see all of this presentations they have. So you go to take in, go to the Learn page, the Microsoft Learning page, where you see all the modules. What is Microsoft Learn about? Microsoft Learn is a platform where you can learn all by yourself Microsoft technologies in one place. So if you want to get certified, any Microsoft technical certification, you come to Microsoft Learn, you learn, you complete the learning part, you apply for to write the exams, and you get certified. All right. So once you come, you can see they're welcoming me. Welcome back, Prince Adimado, and all that. So we are going to come here. We say see what others are learning or browse what others browse, see what others are learning to get into the page where you can search for a learning module, a learning part, and all that. So you can search for learning parts. Yeah. So a learning part, when you talk about a learning part is a collection of modules, right? Yeah, it's a collection of modules. Like this is a module, this is a module, this is a module, but a learning part is a collection of more than one module. So I'm going to come here and search Python Flask. I'm going to search. See it pop up here. So this is actually the module. You're going to build this. This is actually the module. You click on it and you open it, right? So for me, I've already opened it here. So I'm going to start by setting up our development environment. You need Python installed. You need Visual Studio installed. To check that you have Python installed, you run you run this command, Python option version. You come here, run this command, Python option version. You run it. I have Python 3.10 installed. You can see it here. Yeah. All right. So you come here, you create a directory. When you say a directory, create a folder where your project will be in. So you create you are creating a folder called contoso. After creating the folder contoso, so it cd into the directory. That will change a path into the directory, into the folder. Inside the folder, we create a Python virtual environment using this command. If you're Mac OS or Linux, you use this command. Then you activate it using this like using this command also. Windows, use this command to activate your virtual environment. Once you are done, you do code or dot like code space period to open Visual Studio Code in that directory or your command line. Remember, I want to do all this in your command line. Yeah, so you come here, say Python Flask. So right once you create the virtual environment, you see it over here. Then you click on the root of the directory. Then you say create a file for me. And in the file, just get me a requirement.txt file, right? Create a requirement.txt file. Requirement.txt file is a Python file where you keep all our dependencies. Our dependencies are the libraries and what you'll be using to build the application, so that at any point when they push our code to GitHub and someone wants to clone our project and run the project locally, the person can install these dependencies and run application to run it like on local host. So yes, on local host. So what is virtual environment? The virtual environment is you creating like a virtual box where you store all your dependencies in, so that it will be separated from your local hard disk. Yeah, so you're going to come in and you say pip install option R requirement.txt. I'm going to install the packages inside the requirement.txt. So I'm going to show you how it is done. So for me, I've already installed it. I've already installed. So you can see I created a directory called Contoso. I'm using a PowerShell. Then I cd into the directory. After that, I created a Python virtual environment. You can see I wrote a command to give me the list of items in the directory inside the control directory. Yeah, it gave me VNV so that I activated it. Yeah, then I did code or to open the directory inside VS Code. Then after that, I did pip install option R environment.txt. Right. Yeah. So one as an I came to do. So it installed the dependencies for me. Right. So now we are done. We are done. So you have to go to the next module. Um, I mean, right. So I want to switch my screen again to the PowerPoint. Then we continue. All right. So let's go to the Flask fundamentals. The Flask fundamentals. And also, if you don't understand anything, kindly comment in the comment section. I'll be there to answer your queries. Okay, so your question. So let's go to Flask fundamentals. All right. So for this section, Flask is considered as a micro framework. By that they mean its creators name it a micro framework because it's required to do tasks of a web framework, but that's nothing include advanced features. If you want to do any advanced feature with web development in Python, you may consider the go-to one, which is Django, Python Django. Yes. So when creating a web application with any framework, there are a couple of core concepts you need to understand. Routing and templating, right? Routing and templating. You're able to go into this very soon. Also, it's a micro framework because it doesn't include any advanced features. This approach allows Flash to extremely be flexible and perfect for us to use a front end for existing backend APIs. So Flash is meant for you to create a UI and create some views and some templates. After that, call a backend service to come and do the work for you. So that's what Flask does. So going to do routing and templating. So when you create a mobile task, if you get when you create a mobile task, you frequently use buttons which a user can select or tap to indicate a desired action. When they tap the button, a method is called in your app to perform the task. The same thing holds true when the web app only when we hold true, right? Web apps or web applications. Only instead the buttons the server uses are referred to as routes. Routes are indicated by URL. So for this section, you have a URL is adventureworks.com. Right, so they might type the address adventureworks.com or select a link or a button that includes the appropriate URL. On an e-commerce site, you may have URLs like this: adventureworks.com, which is the main page, home page; adventureworks.com/product/widget, which is the details of the widget; then adventure.works.com/cart/buy, which includes the by like to complete a purchase. As a developer, we actually don't need to worry about our first part of the URL, which is adventureware.com. In our example, application is put into action based on whatever comes after the domain, starting from the slash, the forward slash. The portion that the domain name is known as a route, right? Okay, so a route is the path to an action, similar to tapping on the button in a mobile app. A route indicates the action that the user wants to perform. We register our different routes in our web application, respond to the various requests our application supports. In our application, we indicate how we want to respond to a particular route request by providing the function. A route is a map to a function. When we think about writing code in general, the concept is relatively natural. you want to perform a particular action for a function, our users should do the same thing there. So what this one is saying is that in mobile apps, when you click on buttons, yeah, but in web apps, the buttons are like on the server and all that. Yes, you get it. They are all routes, right? We structure them when developing application in development. So there are several. I mentioned of methods. What are methods? So methods in web development, we have get and post method, right? For get method, when you are accessing a page called adventurewebs.com, use the get method to get to the home page. But when you go to adventurewebs.com and want to buy something, the form you fill, when you are submitting the form, you are using the post method. When that, yeah, you are using the post method, right? Yeah, so that's also get and post method. But the other methods such as the delete, put, and so on. Yeah, so let me jump straight to this side. So we have a common workflow. So we as the client, when you're accessing the web page, you use the get method. Then once the server returns, once the server like send a get request, the server will return an HTML form to the user for the user to fill. Once the user fills it and the user submit the form, that's some like that request that the user is sending submitting the form. It's called the post request. Once the server receives the post request, it sends back another response indicating that maybe a success message saying that, oh, your your purchase has been completed or something, or it has been successfully completed, and to redirect you to another page. Yeah, so that's what it does. So let's jump straight into the app route, right? So that way, for this section, so you see the get a post request. So what in there, so you see that app.route to the home page, right? When you say route to the home page using the get method. So when someone comes to the right to the home page, you are using the get method, right? So it's supposed to redirect you to the index.html. But when a person is accessing using the post method inside the index.html, like it will return result.html to the user, right? So once the person access the form inside the index.html to like return result.html to the user. Yeah, so let's go to templating. In templating, you see when I went to Microsoft Learn, I was welcome. They say welcome back, Prince Adimado. You see, so in templating, so how did they get my name? How did you know that it's my name? Because when I was registering, I used my name and they query data from the database. So you can see if they use this welcome, the inside the curly brace is the name, right? The name will be here. So it's query data from it's call data from the database. They printed here. Start the H1 tag. So this is what it's doing. So in in web frameworks, you have something called templating, right? You have something called templating. Templating, we do stuff dynamically. Yeah, like we have static websites and um dynamic websites. When you take pages like Facebook, like Instagram, like this, or it's all social media um, um, platforms, yeah, they are dynamic web applications. Data change very fast. Every second, data is changing. They are all dynamic. So they use templating for all this to query data from what is happening in the database into the UI. That's what the templating is. Let's go to some knowledge check. So, say question one is Python is a framework for building web apps, which were or in which of the following languages? Python and Node.js, Python and Java, Python. What's the answer? Right. So the answer is Python only. So let's jump straight into the creating of another exercise. We are going to create an app. So you create a core application, add route, create an HTML template our form, then we test the application, right? So I'll end my slideshow. All right, so I want to create an app here. So what you need is to create a core application, add a route to the application, create the HTML template for our site, then test the application. So we're going to create a file called app.py, and the py is the extension for Python files. So we're going to copy this, right? I'm going to copy it. So I'll explain the code later. Then I'll copy this also, and I'll also copy this. Right, so for this session, the templates, right? For Flask, our HTML files are supposed to be a folder called templates. So we put them the folder into a template folder. Then you then create the file, right? So I'll copy this already. So we are going to come here. So I've already created my app.py to speed up things so that I want to get you up and like ready to. We don't need to wait for things to be created already. Okay, so we're going to come here. We're going to import this in. Okay, so we're going to import this again. Okay, I'm going to create a folder and import this. Okay, import this also. The routing. So we are saying we are using a decorator. So we give our app a name. So you are telling Flask that let the name of our app be called app, right? So we are saying at app the route get it. So we are accessing Flask. So we are setting let our app route to this, right? Okay, so you're going to render this template. So let's include our template. So you're going to click outside your files anywhere at an empty space. Then click on folder so that you create at the roots. So that you create inside any folder. Yeah, so we are going to create a folder called template. And after you select the folder, and create a file called index.html. And click on create fast. I like this. So you're going to come here, set the index.html. You're going to copy, paste in HTML codes. Right. So if you are familiar with HTML, once you get into the form, you're going to run this. Let me run it before I explain. Right. Let me explain a little bit of the HTML we have. I'm going to copy this. So for us to tell Flask that we are in development, you have to set the development environment, the Flask development environment to development, right? The Flask environment to development environment, so that I want to run the app locally. All right. So come here, paste in. Let me this, and you don't run the app Flask run. So you're going to give us a URL. So before that, you're going to come here. So this is a form. What you see here is a form, right? What you see here is a form. What you see here is a form. The form you access once you bring in the other view, you can see it to be accessing the name, then the language, right? So I'll be explaining that later. So this is the form with a text area, a text box, and with with a select of a section. So we select whether it's the languages you be using. So so our app is running on local host for 5,000. Okay, so we go to our browser and what we have. Paste in this and go to enter. So once it runs, like it will display our HTML, display our HTML page, index.html. Let me use the browser and see. I'll take me some time for it to run. Surely pop up. The Flask is taking some time to run. I'm shocked. What I'll do, let me create a development server. I'll quit it. It's now running. You can see the title here. And maybe there's some glitches in the terminal, I don't know. But so now this is our web page. So for you, it's a workshop. So the source code is provided on the Microsoft link. You can do whatever you want with the source code. Modify if you are very good with HTML, CSS, or JavaScript. You can create create a app, very looking app UI, then go out and or the app and deploy the app. Yeah, so this is our web page. So you can see that I'll show you how to add extra languages to this section, to this select option. So I think you're done for this section. You're done for this section. The next one. Done for this section. So I'll end my slides. I'll stop sharing my screen and share my window. So we're going to come here to knowledge check again. So what is the default port for Flask? Flask to service the HTTP request was 5,000. In what subdirectories will Ginger templates files be stored by default? Templates folder. So for Flask, it uses the Ginger templating engine. Yeah. Then okay, so it's templates, right? Let's go and call the translator service. So let's learn a little bit about the translator. So while solutions using machine learning or artificial intelligence have become increasingly common, they still can be difficult to create from scratch. Fortunately, there are many solutions already built which we can access like with any application programming interface, API. So an API stands for application programming interface. This approach allows us to focus on our code rather than complex modeling. Azure provides a set of offerings called cognitive services, which include services for computer vision, speech to text, text to speech, text translation. You can access any of these services via the software developer kit called SDKs, or by calling in the same way you can call any of the HTTP endpoints. To use the Azure Cognitive Service, you need an Azure account. If you're new to Azure, you can sign up for free, which include the Azure for Students account. Yes. You also have Azure for Students account. But if you're not a student, you can sign up for free, which include the 20 credits first 30 days. 20 US $20 credit for 30 days. For you can also, if you're a student, enroll for Azure for Students. Just search or Google Azure for Students and create an account. It includes $100 for you to use across 12 months. The translator service part of cognitive service will translate to and from dozens of languages. It can automatically detect the source language and translate to multiple target languages in one call. You call the translator service in the same way you will call any HTTP endpoint. We'll be using the Python request to do that. So let's jump straight in. To call the translator service, you need a key, right? And best practice and as best practice, key are never supposed to store in source code. So what you do is we creating the way how we install this Python library called python.env .env or python.n is that you is a key management something. So you don't want to expose our key in our source code. Otherwise, when someone gets access to our source code, they can copy our API keys. They go and use it in application, which as the person using it, it generates some computing power, which will affect our Azure credit. To affect us, and we will pay more without we using for it. You get it? So you have to hide it. You have to hide the keys inside what you call a .env file. Then we put the .env file into a git ignore file. So when you're pushing it on GitHub, it will be exposed, right? So that's what you have to do. So let's go to the translator service. We will obtain a translator service key, create the .env file to store the key. Let's jump straight into it. Let's go. I'm going to build an app. Right, I'm going to build an app. So let me come here. Let me share my screen again. When I share my screen, then that's it. So I'm going to come here. So for this section, I have already created my translator set, but I'm going to show you how to for you to create it, right? So we go to Azure portal, go to Azure, and go to portal.azure.com. That's the URL, portal.azure.com. Then you sign up, right? But if you don't have an Azure account, I also recommend GitHub for Student Pack, GitHub for Education. Then we just search GitHub Education Pack or GitHub Student Developer Pack. You come here. For you to get access to this, you need to sign up for the student for the GitHub Education. Once you sign up for the GitHub Education, you have direct access to the GitHub Student Pack, right? So you click on, you come here, then you sign up. So you have a lot of a lot of benefits. There are a lot of benefits you have here, a lot of many benefits. Intro to web there are thousands, like many. There are many. There are more than like 10. There are benefits you can have as a student, right? Including free, name cheap, like domain and all that. Yeah, Azure and all that too. Ocean, digital ocean and all that, cloud service and all that. So just come here, sign up. Yeah, sign up. In signing up, the requirement is you have to be a student. So if you don't have access to your student email, just use your student ID card. You take a picture of it, make sure it's very clear. Then you upload, then you put some few application questions they will ask you. Then you submit. Once you submit, you receive an email stating that you have been accepted as a GitHub student, GitHub Global student, campus student. Yeah, so you come here. So in the Azure portal, you go to the Azure portal, you see the first section, and you see create service, create a resource. Then in the creating of it, you search translator, you select translator, then you create a translator, you create, and then you come here, then you put the section. So it's very self-explanatory. The resource group, if you don't have a resource group, you create a new resource group by create new. They come to you select the region. For us, if you're in Africa, your nearest region is West Europe. Yeah, so then select West Europe. Then the resource region, West Europe, the same thing. Then you give your resource a name, to give it Flask AI demo, right? Then the pricing will come here. Just choose free. If you don't free, just choose the next one below it. Then you go to keys and management, get your API keys. So there is it. So I'm here. Let me come. Someone may not understand. So let me come here. Once you get to Azure, let's go to Azure portal or Azure.com. Portal.azure.com. So this is the home page. So then this is the resource we are talking about. It's nothing scary. Azure has a very user-friendly interface. You come here, there's a resource you come, you select, then you go through the process, right? You don't waste much time. You come here. From here, go to keys and endpoints. I am at keys and endpoints. So I'm going to copy this. There are two, so just copy one. They all work this. They will all work the same. And copy this. Then copy your endpoint. Right? Your endpoint is this. So you come here to our code. Then you're going to create a .env. See, I selected it to select the root. So create a .env file. A .env create. So for you need our endpoints, right? So you come here to the learning module. Then I'll copy this. Let me come here. Down to .env. It's creating the file. But before that, let me import. Don't waste much time. I don't want to waste much time. So we come here. We are this section. The file for us. So take it some time. Right, so we have the file. Let's open the file. Okay, the file is already open, so it's loading. So we come here, we paste in this. Right, so from here for the key, we paste in the key. Paste in the I'm going to my Azure again. The key. Endpoint. Endpoint is this, and the location. Location is West Europe. Right, then I think you are done. Yes, you are done for this. Let me close it. We come back to this side. Done for this. So let's go and call the translator service. So for the translator service, copy this. In calling the translator service, copy this import, come to app.py. Right. Come back to copy the route. This is what we call this is the view or the function. The like that will call the translator service. Yes. So let's go and copy the index of the results. So these are the headers, right? So for this, like in one part, let me explain this. Say the headers is taking the first option, the index of one, and the translation is taking the index of index of 0, which is the first one, and the translation is taking the index of like 0, which is the first option. That you can see you see this code instead of you I just pasted or the code I just pasted. So the response give me the first index of the translations, and for the text language, give me the first, right? The language give me the first. That's what we see. So you copy this, there's an HTML. We come to templates. We create a new file called results. Make sure you don't make a mistake in naming your files. Otherwise, you get an error. The Flask can't find the file. So make sure you name them right and you call them right inside your app. I'm going to paste in this. So then you come to the app.php. It's running. Now seeing that I've explained this code already up to the side in the previous. For this one, it's saying the original test. Give me the request.form. I wanted to explain this in another section. So what's this? So you see, we gave it a name, right? Give it a name. So if you know HTML, we give it a name so that it can be accessed in our backend code. Then so for the language, the select can give it a language called language, right? So it can be accessed. This like the data here can be accessed through the code, whatever backend service you use. Okay, so you come here, then say for the endpoint, you are calling the .env, you are calling the key. So I say the key, and also we imported. For you to use Python on Ev, you need OS, you need requests. You need requests for the API. I need OS and pipe then from .env import load.env, then you load the .env inside this file, so it can be called. So you come here, then you say endpoint OS.environment, give me the endpoint. What is this thing? Where is this thing coming from? You remember we gave it a name like key equals the key, the keys, then the endpoint slash the URL for the endpoint. So calling the name from the env file. Give it a path that can be like indicated here, commented here. They give it a URL for for the endpoints, right? Give it a URL, target language, and whatever we have been passing inside the like what we call here, right? Give it a URL so they can be passed into the headers, right? Yeah, so we come here, then these are headers, like this is what the API stands for. So just pass in the keys for it to be accessed, right? Set up the header information, which includes the subscription key. You do that, they create the body of the request with the text to be translated. So we create the body, they set the original text, right? The original text, right? You see, the text to be translated is this. Give it a body, name it, name the variable body, the text. So this is like a JSON something, right? Then we make a call using the post. In a call right? Then we translate retrieve the JSON response, retrieve this, we retrieve the translation. So the translation that will be generated, but once you pass the request, as I explained before, inside the web browser, you have to bring the first items inside the block, right? Yeah, so come here, then return. You call the render template to by passing the translator text. So whatever variables you pass here, you want to access those dynamic data from the view here. So you are going to pass it into the template. See the translated text. So translated text was translated text. The original text, You are setting the key and value. If you are in Python, key and value pairs, right? The target language or the target language. You come to the result.html. You can see the original text, right? So whatever key we produce, you pour the key here to be displayed here. So whatever at every instance, at every language, right, to be translated here, and for dynamic data, right? Then for this one, the Flask way of doing stuff for you to go back to a previous page. So you're saying the URL for, then go to the index. What is the index? The view name, which is the index. Go to index for me. Index. I see the df index, right? So yeah, done. Let's run an app again. App is running. App is running. We come here. In this, so the app input. Um. And we select a language. Let's Italian. Okay. Then let me refresh. So let me say there's a language Italian. Affected not affected is not allowing you. Let me check. Let me put the development server and run the development server again. Alright, so you can let me refresh. Say all right, so you can see I'm going to school. After I even made a mistake. Didn't take the Z. I'm going to school. You can see that here the translated text Italian, right? I see it over here. So let me show you how to add another language and or several languages too. So you go to Azure, you search Azure translator documentation or supported language, any one of them. Documentation or supported language. Come here, you open it. You are done. You are basically done with the app, with this web shop. So there is some. Let's say you wanted to add uh, French, right? French, the real French. So you can see you have French for Canada. Or yeah, then you want to pick the French actually. So we can see. I want you for you to add the language and for it to work, you need the language code, which will be passed as a value in the options section in the index.html. So the language code for French, it is F file, then the F file. It does not look at this, whatever name, but the name here is supposed to be the same name for the code, language code you are passing, so that you translate the language to the specified like the language you want, so you don't deceive anyone. We come here, let us add a new language. We come here, then we say FR. Once you know for one, you can do for 50 languages or all the languages that Azure Translator supports. So go to French. Right, so we have done it. So you can go right into our browser, we refresh, then we just input going to school. So this you can see that we created a translator service, but that actually the French didn't show. French did. French did. Let me see. Let me try to see there. French didn't show. Right, so okay, let me create the development server again. Sometimes it's not picking it. It's not picking it up. I don't know why. Go to refresh. I can see French here, so I can say going to school. So this web page is made of Bootstrap, yeah, to make it a little bit pretty. So for you, once you are good with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, can build like a fully fledged UI. So I don't read French, but I can see. So is it Javier Alecor? I hope I'm right. It's the French people. so that's translated a text for us to Javier Alecor. Right. I hope I'm right. My small French, I don't know. So that's it. You have translated our text. So you can say, can you put I'm going to church. You can translate to French again. You can see it here. Or you can say I'm going to eat. I'm going to eat. Yeah, see. Or go and sit on the table. I can see it here. So we are done. Our app is up and running. We are done. So if you are able to make it here to this part, congratulations. Congratulations on watching the video to this section to get the gist out of what I'm trying to do. All right, so back to themes and my slides show end my screen, then share my screen again. Right, so when you come here, right? We have done that. So the exercise, our app is up and running. We call the translator service. So let us answer these questions, right? So what's the name for the HTTP header that carries API keys, calls to Azure Connecting Service? What's the answer? So it is B. So there is the OSP hyphen APIM, then the option like hyphen subscription key. Then the summary. So this is the end of the workshop. So for you to learn how to deploy your apps, your static web apps, your apps with backend services, you can deploy some on Azure App Service. For static web apps, is Azure um, Azure static web app, right? For creating machine learning modules and all that. So this workshop can be found, and also try to go to this URL. Try to go to this URL, this one, the HTTPS aka.ms/workshop omatic hyphen feedback for you to give a feedback of what this workshop is. How do you tell us your view of this workshop? How do you see it? And all that, so that to give the team who develop the workshop more insight in helping shape their future workshop and content to be released. All right, so in this workshop, we learn the core concept of building websites in Python by using Flask framework. Typically, the core of a Flask application is app.py, and the code calls the Flask function, such as the render template. You also learn how to programmatically inject content into the HTML using Ninja, how to use app.route to connect functions in your. Also, you discovered that you can use Azure Connected Service to build intelligent application infused with AI. So what you do is AI. Our application is AI based, right? Yeah. So creating your app own, like by creating your own machine learning modules and all that. So with Azure Connected Services, you don't need to write more lines of code or create anything from scratch, right? So combined with other services and connected services, these APIs make it possible for you to write apps that you could have only dream about a few years ago. They are done. Thank you all for watching this video. Thank you. And if you have any questions, if you're on LinkedIn, just search Prince Adimado. I'll be very happy. Let me do my name again. So Prince, this is my name, Prince Adimado. All my LinkedIn will be shared in the description, also YouTube. So let's go. If you have any questions, for it to ask me, I'm facing some difficulties, go to LinkedIn and find me. I'll reply to your DM. Yes, so thank you very much for joining. I am Prince Adimado once again, and see you in the next video. Yes, so bye. See you in the next video. Bye. Yeah.